Hello friends, welcome to the channel. It is A Little Kinder by Karen Day, and I am Karen Day. Today I am bringing you an unboxing, and I'm super excited. It is going to be a Layle by Mail unboxing, and again, I'm super excited. So if you don't know who Layle is, she is an amazing teacher who teaches traveler's notebooks. She also does mini albums. I don't know her full history. I do know that she worked for Scenic Route for a while. She did some stuff for Simple Stories for a very long time. And now she's out on her own as Layle by Mail, an independently owned business. Independently woman-owned business. All right, that was a mouthful to get out. So, this is where I got so excited. So we just got back from a trip, and oh gosh, my brain just is so full of things. This is my traveler's notebook that I took with me. I did a few pages before we left. We kind of took an epic trip, and I happened to have been introduced to Layle right before we left, like maybe a week before. No, 2 weeks before, at the very beginning of December. Way back here when we had Vicki Booten's Evergreen and Holly class. My friend and enabler, Robin, had me over to her house. We were talking about a bunch of stuff, kind of catching up. You know, we hadn't been together since the vid hit. And she asked if I'd ever heard of Layle and Traveler's Notebooks because she thought that I might really like it. I fell in love. I immediately came home and I emailed Layle and asked a bunch of questions, and she answered every single one of them. And she has put together on her YouTube channel a whole series that pretty much is like months worth of classes. So she during some of the shutdown stuff, she started teaching some free classes on YouTube. And that's what she sent me to. Talks about what a traveler's notebook is, how to set one up, all of the information. And I ran out. Well, I happened to be at Target. I didn't run out specifically. I happened to be at Target because I needed to get some things for our trip. And so I ran into the stationery section, and they had these. These are what are called a standard wide. Or there's another word, and I don't know how to say it. I'll have to learn it, but it starts with a C. It's C-A-H something. But what that means is that this book, this thing, is 8 1/4 by 5 inches. Okay. Evidently, the standard one is about 1 inch shorter, so it's much narrower. Well, I'm kind of like Layle. I like the real estate. For me, that's kind of a cool thing. So anyway, I got a hold of it, and I thought this would be a great way to be able to journal while we're on our trip, keep up with things, and then literally print photos and go. Well, being a first time, it didn't quite go the way I wanted it to, but there were some things that I did set up before we left. I set up a calendar. I wanted to be able to document all of the things that we did, where we went, what was kind of going on. December is always a busy month. A lot of people do a December daily or a December documented. I don't. It's just no, too much. But I really like this idea of setting up kind of like a planner page that allowed me to be a little more artistic in my examples. So the pink dates were the days that we were at home and had some of the things that we had going on. Then we start with the yellow dates, and those were our days that we were at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Then we did this epic 9-night cruise to the Southern Caribbean, and so that's what this book will be. So another thing that I did before we left was I created a packing list. Another thing that Layle does that I have fallen in love with is listing, and she calls it creative listing, and I think that it is a fantastic idea. storytelling and memory keeping for me has really shifted from where it was when I started many, many years ago. And maybe one day I will do a video on that. But what I was able to do while we were on our trip, and I took this whole bag of stuff with me that I had hoped to really dig in and use. And I really only used a little bit. So there are some things that I've got to tweak and I've got to figure out. And I think maybe being the first book was not the book to try to do this with. But it worked. So this was my actual packing list. I actually packed off of this list. I have a photo that we took of the bags sitting out the night before and of the truck when we loaded that I'm going to print. Now, I will say this. One thing that having this with me and being able to put in, I don't know if you can see, I'm hoping you can see the pencil marks. Putting in the ideas in here in this order helped me make sure I had the pictures that I wanted. So I decided that my first spread was going to be a bucket list. So these were the items at each of the parks, and I still have to come back and label them, that we wanted to make sure we did. And I thought that we would do a photo, a large photo of either us together or the gates at Walt Disney World. And then we move into some things that I tried to do while I was on vacation. So one thing I noticed, my pages are very thin in this particular book. And so when I went to stamp Disney Springs, it shows through. So I will have to put paper on any page that I choose to stamp. That's fine. It wasn't a big deal over here because I already had paper there, although you can see just the teeniest tiniest bit peeking out. Not a big deal to me. All right, so I went through and I really kind of laid out, and each day as I came back to the room from a park, I looked at the pictures that I had taken and I decided kind of how many pictures or how many pages I would need and kind of what would go there. So that helped me not miss anything, not miss any pictures. I really liked this idea. And then there were a couple of pages that I wanted to put in. Originally, I thought this might be the transition point from Disney to the cruise, but as it turns out, I needed all of these extra pages. Again, this is why having this with me really, really, really was beneficial. And then we have our transition page over to the cruise. And so I haven't laid out the back half like I did the front half. So that all happened before I left. One more thing that I wanted to mention. So these are those photo storage boxes. That's what I'm putting all of my ephemera in and storing and keeping together. So I just grabbed one that was travel themed and took it with me. And I grabbed a bunch of index cards. If you've been around my channel, you know index cards are the bomb.com for me. So I grabbed a stack of them and I took them with us. And one thing that I really did do, with probably the exception of our last 2 sea days, was every day I just kind of wrote down my thoughts. Either first thing in the morning about the upcoming day or the night when we headed back to the room. So I have all of this really great information of things that we did. Names of people. So on the cruise ship, I have names of the happy hour guy that brought us our drinks and, learned what we liked. And as we would walk in, he would say, would you like your everyday, would you like your order? And he went and got things. And so this to me almost, it's like I needed this to make sure I got photos, but this is invaluable. So again, this is going to be a learning curve for me. It's something new, something different. So I'm going to have to dig in. But that is what led me to this order. So at laylebymail.com, I ordered a whole bunch of goodies. Ooh, got some paper for us to stamp on. These are my first time with Layle by Mail stamps. And so I kind of dove in with both feet. And there's some reasons why. There's some really, really great things in here. And so we're going to pull this out and we're going to go through it and we're going to talk about all the pieces. And I am going to truly be Internet Karen for you. And I am going to tell you all the things. No confrontations, no fussing, but I am going to like really dive in. So here's what I got. I was trying to see if there's my packing order. I wanted to make sure that I could tell you what it's called on the site, so I kept my packing slips. So there were a couple of things that I ordered. We'll start with these that were paper products. This is the Today 4x6 notebook. We'll take it out of the package since it's here. This is by Everyday Explorers. And in one of the listing sessions that Layle did, she does them, I think regularly through the year, they're on Saturdays. But one of the listing sessions she did was with this card. And I really like this idea. It said, today looks like this. And so it gives you all of this room to kind of create this really fun storytelling platform. And I like that. So it could be a list, or it could be a story, or it could be a plan, or it could be something completely different. You could add the date, your mood. If it's, you know, a to-do list, it could be a check off. But then it gave a place for you to add one thing that was good today, and, you know, just some places to reflect on the day. And I really like that. So I got this pad, and there are a gajillion of these. I don't know how many forever. I should have looked it up before I jumped on, but I thought this was fantastic. And I'm like, there are enough of these. This would be really fun. This would be really fun as well to like mail a couple to Anna Claire or send some to Jackson and say, hey, on your birthday, fill this out for me, or on a special day. The other paper product I got, these are, I believe, Layle Studios. It doesn't say, and I think that's what I'm remembering correctly. These are Heart Grid 3x4 cards. Now, funny story. Layle Studios has this as a stamp set, and I have ordered it, and it is on its way. They also have one that has a star in it. So there's more than just this in the stamp set, but I'm super excited. So I have some that are pre-printed to play with, and some that I'll be able to stamp. So I'm really excited about those. There aren't, it's maybe 10 in here. 2, 4, 6. There are 8 of them. So being absolutely honest, that was a little bit disappointing to me for the cost that there were so few. And it wasn't horribly priced, but it was, you know, I would have expected to have at least 10. But I do like them, and if you don't want the stamp set, and if I remember correctly, at Layle Studios, it's about a $25 stamp set. It's a 6x8, so we'll do that in another video. But those are the 2 paper products that I got. Layle was also doing a little bit of a sale, and I got the Typewriter Circles Traveler Notebook Bundle, and that's what this is. So it's the Carpe Diem brand, which is a Simple Stories brand. At least I think it is. I was thinking they were by Simple Stories, but I could be very wrong. But the packaging is very similar, so that's maybe what was making me think that. So it's the actual Traveler's Notebook and some inserts, and so that was on sale, so I snatched it up. Now, I am usually a pink person. Pink, 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 and pink. But I loved this pattern. Okay, let's get into it. I loved this. All right, come on. Y'all are getting the live version of unboxing because I sure didn't open any of this. All right, I loved the cover. So it's a really pretty pale blue. Kind of leans maybe a little bit aqua, but it has text and the grids and the lines. Then when it opens, this is what makes it a traveler's notebook, are these pieces, the elastic that you can put your inserts into. So, traveler's notebook, inserts. Very confusing, right? Because I thought this was the traveler's notebook. So it comes with this little one already in there. This one's blank. And you can see they've just stuck it through. Actually, they've stuck it through 2. I'm going to pull one of them off because it really only needs to go through 1. So you stick them through and then they can be in there. So where did I just throw this? So this is the one that we just used. So what I could have done was if I had, trying to find the middle, there it is. If I'd had this with me, what I could have done was taken the traveler's notebook, slid it in, and then carried this around versus just the notebook. So I really like it. It will hold up to 4 with the elastics that are in here. And they make, there is a way to add more. It's a jump system. They make little elastic pieces that allow you to jump them together. But I am super excited. Again, these came from Target. They weren't horribly expensive. It's not necessarily the best quality of paper, but it's not bad. Let's go ahead and open these up. This says that it's a dot, grid, and line. So I don't know if that means one is a dot grid and the other is lined, or if they have both pages in it. So let's get this open. There we go. All right, let's take a look. So one thing I noticed right away is these are stapled. And mine, pick up the extra one. Mine that I got at Target are stitched. I feel like the stitching is going to hold out better than the staples. The other thing that was interesting is mine has a pocket at the back. The Target ones do. But these, so the whole book is dotted. Yeah, I do feel like that these staples are going to pull. But you know what's fantastic is Layle also has a video on how to take the staples out and stitch. So there's a way to fix that. And so I'm assuming this one's going to be lined. Yep, it sure is. All right, I'm feeling this paper and my hands are freezing. This feels like a better quality paper. This is very thin in comparison to this. So, things to think about. Staple versus stitched. Thicker paper versus thinner paper. So, now I will say one thing that I am liking a whole lot is the idea of working off the book. So, in this case, I stuck the pages in, but like I could have left this page off the pattern paper, worked outside of the book, and then glued it in. I am liking that idea. All right, I'm just going to slide these in here and put this around it. So that is my Traveler's Notebook. I'm really excited. I kind of like it a lot. I don't kind of like it. I love it a lot. All righty, moving on. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to say? Oh, there is. Okay, so one of the things that Layle does is classes. So like paid for classes. I have signed up for one that will be starting at the end of January. It's the year in review. Comes with an exclusive stamp set that we will be using. Last year's stamp set sold out and I really want it. And so if I find it anywhere, I'm probably going to pay an unbelievable price for it. But one of the things that she does is she decorates these. And so they're just pretty. And then she wraps these so that they're pretty as well. So when I get that kit and we go through it, I will do a review of it as well. So here's that. Now let's talk about some of the other things that I got. Alrighty. So all of the stamp sets that I got are exclusive to Layle. These are not. These are pockets, and I can't remember who they're by. Does it say on here? Nope. These are 6x8 stamp sleeves. And I can't remember who she said they're by. But she did. There's a here. All right. So these are the 6x8 stamp sleeves. I am going to have to get the smaller ones. Being Internet Karen again, one thing that is frustrating to me personally is getting stamp sets that aren't in a pocket. That's just me. I know they do it to keep the price down. I get it. I'm not upset with that. It's just then I have to go buy pockets and make sure I have all the sizes and all the things. So I got the big ones. And I knew that, you know, a lot of the stamps would be smaller. But that's what I did. All right. Now, where to start? So we talked about pockets. That's just a me thing. I wish that, not wish, I'm of the mindset, add a few more dollars to the stamp set and put the pocket with it. And then I don't have to worry about it. That's just me. I have a video that I'm doing where I'm reviewing some of the Heidi Swap stamps, and hers come with a pocket. And so that's a whole thing for me. Again, it's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker. Obviously, I have quite a bit here to show you that are hers that I'm super excited about. Now, let me check my notes because I don't want to mess up. All right, this and this and this and these. Okay. We're going to start with these. These are, I'm going to call them older stamp sets. These are the brand new, the ones I put over here are the brand new release. These are older. Once they're gone. Unless she continues to bring them back. So, which one do I want to start with? Okay, I'm going to start with this one because this was probably the set. Yay, it's on the back. Layle shared this Traveler's Notebook, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the idea. So this whole Traveler's Notebook of hers is a travel thing. And so these are the letters for the airport. And so she's got the little airplane in it. I love to travel. I fell in love with this set. This set has so much in it. Let's go ahead and pull it out. So all of her stamps are made in the USA, which I think is fantastic. All right, we're going to need that white piece of paper so that you can see these. All right, let's take a look. So I loved so many things I loved about this set. One is the narrow font that she was using the 3 letters to show what the airports were. It has the numbers as well as the years, the months, and then it says out the window. Now, this was the other part that was super cool. So in her setup, this piece, the line piece, went this way. And so her writing was here. You can see it here in this picture too. But she put the date numbers big, the name of the month, and then the date down below it. And I fell in love with that idea. I also loved all of these little icons that came with it. I thought they were fantastic. So there's a camper, there's a train, an arrow, an airplane, 2 different cars, and a boat. A ship. I should call it a ship. It's really a ship. It's not a boat. It's a ship. So super excited about that. Now, we're going to set this over to the side. I can't wait to get into play with these. These are going to be fantastic. All right, with my white paper here. Now, let's talk about these. Let me take them out of the package. This set was one that I watched her use in an older listing session that she did. Like I said, I have spent hours watching the old listing sessions, and I am hooked. But this one is a top list. So we have the words to do top 5, top 10, top 3, and then the numbers. I love these numbers. I love these numbers. I love the size of them. I love the font of them. I just love them. And I love this writing. It's very Ray Dunn feeling to me, even though I think it may be Layle's actual handwriting. I could be wrong. But it just has that very current vibe happening. Love that there's a little star in there as well. So this packaging doesn't have an example on the back, or I would show it to you. All right, the next one. Currently, oh my heck. I got so excited about this. I remember in social media a while back, and it's been, oh gosh, it's been 10 years easily. Every beginning of the school year, all of the teachers who were on Instagram and were bloggers would do kind of a back to school currently. And I loved that. I thought it was neat. So it just kind of was a snapshot of where we were. And so somebody always made a graphic and you took it and you added to it. Well, here is a stamp set that does that. You have the large bold print currently, watching, discovering, playing, listening, reading, learning, thinking, hoping, wishing, enjoying, liking, disliking, loving, going, doing, planning, praying, considering, celebrating, drinking, eating, feeling, trying. So it covers all the things. And here in our packaging, you can see where she's used it as a list. So I am super stoked about having this one and being able to do some currently pages. All right. All right. Now this one. And she has a picture on the back. I'm so excited. I think this was the stamp set that I was the most excited about rushing home to. So it's a swatching stamp set. And there have been lots of swatching stamp sets that I've seen that I fell in love with. This one, to me, oh my heck. This one was perfect. This was the one that I said, yep, I'm going to buy it. And again, I've looked at a lot of them. So let's take a look. So in her example here that she did for the packaging, she stamps the ink color and then she puts the brand and type underneath it. And there's a cute little dotted line that's included that you could use. However, in the ones that she's shown in her listing sessions, it's just this square. And then the name of it is written in there. I love that there is a square and there's a rectangle because it matches the size of the inks. So look at this. Distressed ink. Y'all, I don't know. It's the little things that make me happy. So excited. So I will be swatching inks. I can't wait to dive into this one. I'm a little curious to see how this photopolymer does with inks because it's such a solid image. So we'll see how that goes. But I am super, super excited about it. I can't wait. And I love the fact that you could either choose square or rectangle. That might help you know what it is. So like I'm thinking all of my Stampin' Up! Inks that are more of a rectangle shape, I will probably swatch in the rectangle, and all of my Tim Holtz will go on the square. I know, it's cheesy. It's my little type A that made it happy. All right, we're going to talk about this in a second. These are 3 of the 5 new sets. One of them I don't have, and I won't have until my January, year in review kit gets here because it's part of the kit and I didn't want to buy a double. But these are 3 of the 5 new ones. The other new one I'll show you in just a minute with something else. I love these. This layout right here, Layle showed in her traveler's notebook. So it said focus, and then she chose 5 areas that she was going to focus on. Could be anything. Could be these words. It doesn't have to be these words. And I am going to do that in my new traveler's notebook that I'm getting ready to start. That will kind of be my planner slash memory keeping slash everything book. And I'm super excited. I'm super excited. So it's also going to be the layout for me that introduces my 1 word for this year. So I'm just very excited. And I'm sure I'm going to do more of the focus type layouts. Love that. All right. That one was brand new. This one is brand new. This one is a list builder. This one is called, I just saw the name. All the things. All the things. So this is an example that she put on the back. Things I'm looking forward to this year. So that is what you can build from here. My favorite things about, things I'd like to, and then there are all these words that you can mix in with it. So things I'm looking forward to, things I'd like to do over, things I dislike, things I remember, things I learned. So many fun things. My favorite things about winter. Next year, this year. So many things. Try, wish. Things I'd like to try. Things I wish I did well. I don't see an I, but I could totally add an I. That would not be a problem. things I'd like to do again. I am in love with this set, and I love that it is going to make amazing titles. All right, so there's that one. Now let's talk about this one. This one is also a new set. This one is called Word Strips Highlights. And here's what she's done. And I love this. I also have a couple of the Tim Holtz Tiny Type. They're not called Tiny Type, but they are. They're the little bitty words. And so I plan on doing something similar to this with those as well. But you could take them and cut them, stamp them all as one, and then cut them into little strips. So here's a Currently Loving. And then she's added like Happy Days Ahead, More of This Please, all from this stamp set. Let's pull it out, put it on the white paper so you can really look at it without anything in the way. So look, this is life hanging around, the here and now. I love these little bitty words. And so what I probably am going to do, knowing me and knowing how I work, I would use these. I would come a whole lot closer to using these if they were pre-stamped. So I will probably stamp this whole sheet and then cut them with a trimmer into little bitty pieces. So I have all of these ready to go. And then rather than stamping it in between my list, I would glue it. So that's probably what I'm going to do with those. And then I can add some of the Tim Holtz ones too. Now, last but definitely not least, these are two products. Actually, there are three things in here, but these are two different products that I fell in love with. Okay. This is a bundle that has the old List Builder Bullets and More set. So this has been around for a while. And the new one. So this is set 2. Look at the flip-flops. They're so cute. So many cute little icons in here that you can use to build your list. Now, these are teeny tiny. And even my tiniest block is this big. Yeah, that's huge, right? So, in one of the listing sessions, Layle was talking about this. She calls this the stamping stylist. And I believe that it was actually one of her viewers that kind of prompted this idea. So this is acrylic. It's just an acrylic tube. It's got a nice long handle on it. You can really hold on to it. But the tip of it on either end are going to hold these teeny tiny little things. So let's pull one out of here. Oh, that one's cute. All right, so, and you can see here all of the ones that she's put in between her list of favorite 80s bands. All right, so look, this is what got me excited. Because these are so tiny, you really have the chance, put them on there so you can see them, to overstamp them. Meaning if they're on a big block, just the weight of the block could cause it to smush, and then you have ink everywhere. Or when you go to put it in the ink, you get ink all over the block. Well, that is solved with this cute, adorable little stamping stylist. So look at this. This is a lemon wedge. You take it and you stick it on the bottom of here. The bottom of your stamping stylist. It's tiny. So I'm having, there we go. So you stick it on the bottom of here, and then when you go to stamp it up, to ink it up, stamp it up, to ink it up, it's not, look at that. So there they are. Now, I am not a huge fan of stamping with Distress Oxide on something this tiny, but it's okay. So I love it because it's not a hard press. This is very lightweight, and so pressing this in is not difficult. So I really loved this idea. And I figured that I needed both sets of the icons, the bullets. And so over here on this one, she's used the flowers to make a list. Just a list where this is more of like a run-on list or a paragraph list. She did them straight down, and then there are some adorable little hearts that are in here. There are also some cute little banners. Obviously, they're bigger than this, but this isn't going to be as bad on my, wherever it went, block. See, it's much closer to the size. Look at the cute smiley face. Thumbs up and, oh, I love the thumbs up and thumbs down. Oh, I'm loving these. I love the numbers. You have 3 different fonts of numbers. Oh, these are going to be so fun to play with. So, real quick, one of the things that I wanted to do was pull out my Extreme Black. We're going to slide this out of the way because these aren't the ones that I wanted to do. I am going to grab this set of words. That'll work. Things let's do this one. Let's do things so I pulled out this one, which is pretty tiny, and I'm going to put it on my little block right there. It's a little easier to do it if I set it like this. Things let's do learn. Things I learned. It's a little bigger than my block, so I'll do my block crooked. All right, so this is my favorite ink. I love this. My favorite thing is Extreme Black. Let's see. Ink you up. See how you do. So when they make photopolymer, there is a film that's on there. So this first stamping of these, I do not expect to go well, but it might. It's a little blurry. Do you see that? Just a little bit. Not bad. But that's because of the coating. So let's see. Things oh, that's much better. See the difference? This still had some of the coating. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's not a... I am liking how these are taking ink, actually. Things I learned. I'm loving it. I really like how these took ink. This is a really, really good quality stamp. It's crisp and clear. Took the ink very well. Really like it. All right. Real quick, we'll grab the cleaner and clean these off. So, that, my friends, was my Layle by Mail unboxing and review. And I do have 2 more things coming from her, 2 different boxes. I have one that should be here early this week. It'll probably be here by the time this video comes out, so it'll be just a few days behind it. And then towards the middle of January, I should be getting my year in review kit, and I will do an unboxing and review of that. So, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and that you press like below. By pressing like, you help others find me, and it helps grow my channel. I am very appreciative of that. So thank you very much. See you next time.